Why do you think he needed to be here?
I think the biggest thing is he was a veteran. You know, you always want a veteran guy if you can get a veteran guy, because as we saw last year, unfortunately, sometimes you're going to have injuries in that room. I mean, you don't think you're going to have it, but you want to make sure you're prepared and have other veteran guys to be ready to roll. And I want to make sure, you know, we did the things that we need to do to make sure, you know, we hitting on all cylinders.
There are some years where Gus Malzahn is an offensive coordinator, obviously as a head coach. He will rotate a couple of guys, but many of his seasons there's been a bell cow, somebody that he designates as his top guy. How do you think it's going to shake out this year as we head into camp? Do players think that there's a starting job to take, or do you think that they're battling knowing that there's a rotation perhaps in front of them?
Well, I tell my guys all the time, just be ready for the opportunity. You never know. You can't say what you think is going to happen. One thing I do tell them, once we do give you the ball, you have permission to run as far as you want to. You know, so that's the ultimate goal, doing the things that you need to do when when the opportunity presents itself. And at the end of the day, you want to use multiple backs. You don't want the guys to get beat up. And we're going to see how this goes. But the guys are excited. You know, excited about being able to kind of run the ball downhill. We're going to see, you know, how it all pans out.
Does tempo change anything about the way you prepare your guys? I mean, obviously you've run some up tempo here in Mike's time, but Gus might want to go to different speed. Does that change how you prepare your guys?
No, I think you have to be ready. You know, football is football, and at the end of the day, our guys are the ultimate thing is being smart, understanding where to line and different things like that, and playing fast and being physical. And the ultimate goal is finishing whatever we do. So those guys are going, you know, they're going to be prepared for that. We played fast in the past, so I think they're going to be ready. But it's going to be a little different, you know, because Coach Gus want to play at a different speed sometimes. But I think our guys will be prepared for it.
You mentioned earlier that it's easy to forget guys like a Roydell or a Keziah. What have they done in terms of their off-season work, and do they, you know, what kind of opportunities might they have in front of them?
I think they're veterans. You know, when you're talking about guys 215, 220 running downhill, they're NFL running backs. You know, at the end of the day, you want guys who can move the chains and do different things like that. And I think Keziah, you know, he's going to do a really good job for us this year. Same thing with Rowe. When you have two big backs, you know, that's what you want. You want some veteran guys in there. And, you know, they can catch the ball to the backfield. You know, but like I said, with Ooze and Cam, and also have Sam Singleton, you know, going to do a really good job. And the change-up guy is Jay Luke. You know, just stick of dynamite, get the ball in his hand, and, you know, making sure we do the things we need to do to have the ball in his hand.
What are the possibilities that Jalen can bring you just as far as creativity of where he can line up, play calling, just he can be a running back, he can be a receiver?
Well, he can do it all. You know, one thing about him also in the return game, you kind of forget about that part of it. He also can return punts, return kicks, but you can line up Jay Luke anywhere. You know, our job is to make sure we get a chance to put the ball in his hand. He secure the ball. That's one of my biggest things, and making sure we have a good understanding. You know, we have to own the football. You know, but I think Jay Luke is ready, and I think Coach Gus is going to put him in position to be successful.
Why were the additions of Gavin and Ousmane important for you?
I think you always want, you know, like I said earlier, with somebody like Gav, you always want a veteran guy. You know, he played a lot of football. I know he had a few injuries, but he's really smart. He understands football. He understands, you know, where he fits. And Ousmane, he's different. You know, this guy is really different. You know, at his size, speed, he can catch the ball in the backfield. He's really athletic, you know, and one thing about him, he's smart. He's a really smart football player. I thought his high school did a really good job with him preparing for this. And my biggest thing is making sure you do the things that you need to do to be successful. You don't have to be in a rush. You're not here to save us. Just do the things you need to do to help you be successful, to help us be successful.
Does missing a spring put them, either of them, at all behind the eight ball as a running back, or because of experience in Gavin's case, or Ousmane's just talent, not the case?
I don't think it's so much putting behind the eight ball. You know, that's why you have fall camp. You're going to see kids emerge and see what they can do with their opportunities. And my biggest thing is making sure I put things on his plate that he can handle. You know, not to try to give him too much just because he's really athletic or he's really talented. I have to make sure I'm being smart with him. And I think he's going to do a good job with that.
Are there any nuances to running back with this new offensive coordinator that they have to understand and do a little bit differently than they did last year?
No, other than probably the tempo, you know, playing a little faster, different things like that. But, you know, like I said, I try to make this game as simple. Football is a simple game. Now, at the end of the day, you got 5 linemen. Guess what? They're going to block somebody. You have to block the other person. Now, to really be up on your communication, have a good understanding of that. And our ultimate thing right now is making sure we have smart football players. You know, that's our number one goal, making sure you have a good understanding of what's going on. Being a smart football player allows you to play fast, allows you to be physical, and making sure you finish. But I think those guys are chomping at the bit. They're ready to roll, and they're excited. We're all excited about this opportunity.